Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good? Gives us here a few minutes and see if some people pop in. I haven't been on in a while. Hope everybody's doing well. See if we get anybody to pop in here. Anybody hear me out there? Give me a number 1 if you would, please. Oh, Clippy Lady, how you doing? It's nice and cloudy in Maine and around 66. Cheryl, how you doing, Cheryl? Give this a few minutes to pop on here. I know I haven't done a live stream in about a month. Just had a lot of stuff going on. It's just been crazy. So, Clippy Lady, is all your snow gone? Beautiful here in Massachusetts. Kilgone Princess, how you doing? Thank you for joining in tonight. See if we get a few more people to pop in here, and we'll get going on the discussion. Blues for you. Hi from California. How you doing? Pitbull, thank you for joining in. Yes, all gone. We hit 82 degrees on Wednesday. No more snow. Yeah, it's supposed to warm up down here big time this coming week. Conference is awesome. How are you? Just dehydrated my first batch of homegrown mushrooms. Oh, nice. How'd they turn out? Did they turn out good? All right, we're going to give this only about 3 minutes in here. See if we get some more people to join in, and we'll take it from there, folks. We'll get the show on the road. Hurricane season, June 1st, begins in Florida. Yes, it does. We're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight. Oh, good. They turned out good. You're going to keep growing them. Good for you. What kind of mushrooms did you do? So did you all hear about the coronal mass ejection that happened the other day from the sun? It's starting to wake back up. It was wasn't really that. It was powerful, but we got really lucky on this one, and all the scientists and stuff are saying that it's a wake-up call for what could be coming down the pike with the sun starting to get active again. So that's going to be something we're going to have to keep our eye on. Unfortunately, we don't get really a lot of warning when those things happen because they travel so fast. Oysters. Ooh, portobellos. Ooh, those are good. Good for you. Are you doing them inside? Do you have like a little thing you're doing them inside, or do you do them outside or in your garage or basement? Or always want to try to do mushrooms. I've seen those mushroom kits. I just never did it. All right, we're going to give this about one more minute, and then we're going to get going here. Just trying to check the chat, make sure nobody's new coming in. Inside the apartment doesn't take much space on my scale. That's pretty cool. You can grow them right inside. Nothing like fresh mushrooms. Well, that's pretty cool, Clippy Lady. You know, somebody willing to let you come and help, and, you know, you can learn a little bit. That's always a good thing, you know, especially if, you know, they've been doing gardening for a very long time. Hopefully they'll teach you the tips and tricks. JT, how you doing, JT? That's all right. Took 2 tries to get the laptop booted up. Nah, don't you like that? Whenever you need it, it just doesn't always want to go. I'm excited. I know nothing. Well, hopefully you're going to learn some stuff, and then you'll be on your way. So, all right. So we're gonna get going here. We're gonna talk about disaster preparedness 2021, what to expect, and maybe what to plan for. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. I just talked about the mass ejection that came off the sun that we got hit with the other day, and it was pretty significant. A lot of people didn't really feel too much. They said that it did interrupt radio waves for a brief, short period of time. But a lot of the scientists are saying that the sun is coming back active again. And we really need to pay close attention to this, especially the closer we get to 2025. I guess that's the golden year that they're talking about, where it's going to be very, very active. So I guess it's just something we have to keep our eye on. And there's just so much stuff that's going on right now. We're coming into hurricane season, as Clipper Lady, she said on here, starting June 1st. And a lot of people are starting to get prepared. Here in Florida, they're having their sale tax free days on a lot of hurricane preparedness items, which starts on this coming Friday on the 28th. And they extended it this year, so that it's running from the 28th to June 6th, which I think is a really good thing, something that I definitely do agree with. This way here, hopefully it gives more people more time in the state of Florida to get out and get their preps and stuff and be ready. An easy way to really do a lot of this stuff is the money that you save from not paying the sales tax, especially if you're buying big ticket items, is take that money and then filter it back into your food products, your canned goods, dry goods, water, all that type of stuff. And the money you would have spent anyways, you can put back into that, and you're still coming out ahead of the game because you didn't have to pay the sales tax. So if you figure out what the sales tax is, if you say buy yourself a generator, which is tax-free up to $1,000 here in the state of Florida, and you can get a pretty nice generator for $1,000. And take that money and roll it back into your food preps, and then by the time you're done prepping for all your hurricane supplies and everything, you'll have your food put up too, and you're all done. So it's a win-win situation. We've been having a lot of flooding already. Louisiana, Texas, that whole area. There's parts of Louisiana that they got 17 inches of rain and no tropical system, just from that storm that sat there for days on end and didn't move because of the high pressure. And speaking of the high pressure, one of the reasons why they do believe that this year it's going to be a more active hurricane season from Florida all the way up the East Coast into the Northeast is because the Bermuda High is going to start pulling away and moving more towards Bermuda than where it has been for the last 2 years, closer to the East Coast, which will allow the storms to kind of like curve and come into Florida more, and North Carolina, Virginia, all the way up into the Northeast. In a couple of years past, the poor all the Gulf states, they just been getting pounded. They were like the bullseye for the longest time. And as this Bermuda High starts to pull away, then things are going to start to change, and this puts us back in the ball game, if you want to put it that way. We're still dealing with some drought issues. There's fire issues already starting out in the West. There's drought issues that are in the central states, running right down through. Some people are getting inundated with rain, and other people, they can't get a drop to save their lives. There's all kinds of different situations that are going on where they're having these weird weather, weird temperatures, and everything else that's going on all across the country. One day it could be 80 degrees where you live, and the next day, it's 40 or 30. And it just seems like it's going to be a very, I was watching a few videos this morning that some homesteaders that I follow, and they haven't been able to plant their gardens and stuff yet. They have everything ready to go. They planted everything, they pre-seeded everything, and everything is staged inside, but the ground is too wet because they've been getting so much rain and they can't plant. So they're already, the two that I watch, they're already 2 weeks behind on their planting season. And we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. The plants are still growing. They have them inside their grow houses. They do use lights if they need them, if the temperatures cool off, because they've had a fluctuation with temperatures. And with so much moisture, they haven't been able to get them in the ground. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. You think when you just look at a couple of channels, but you think about all the farmers and stuff that plant hundreds of thousands of acres of fields, and if they're not able to get this stuff in the ground, what's going to happen come down the pike later on this year when the harvest should be coming around? Will it be a lesser harvest, or in some cases maybe no harvest if they can't get it in the ground, or if they plant it too early and the seeds are in the ground and now they're underwater, they're going to rot. So there's a lot of things that are going on with the disaster preparedness that we need to be prepared for. We really need to start thinking about a plan to cover us for a lot of different things. And being prepared is just one of those major things. Anybody that's out there that has, you've been prepping and everything else, you just need to keep your eye on the ball and keep doing what you're doing and try to stay ahead of the ball and ahead of the curve, and try to pay attention to what's going on with Mother Nature and everything else, space. We've had, I don't know how many close pass-bys by asteroids this year. I think it's something like 57 close objects that have come within 1 lunar nautical mile, which is, I forget, it's a long way, but it's really close. You know, I'm not a scientist. I don't break all that stuff down, but you know, they had the one that ricocheted off of the Earth, um, and that was really really close. And a lot of people saw that one in the sky. And there's just so much stuff that's going on out there that we have to be prepared for. Now, something I want to cover real quick, and I've been seeing a lot of comments on a lot of my videos and stuff, and people comment that you know, they really don't have a lot of money to prep, and you know, they run into issues and everything else. And I just want to throw something out there real quick. You can, when you're doing your preps, you have to prep within your means. Now, if that means you have to go to the Dollar Tree, to Family Dollar, or whatever else, and buy your batteries and things of that nature there, then that's what you have to do. You have to be prepared, folks. Don't get discouraged when you see a lot of channels, mine, anybody else, you know, and, you know, they're showing you new gear, they're showing you new different things and everything else, because that's kind of like what we all do. You know, we want to keep everybody up on what's coming out, and all the new products and the best of this and the best of that. But if you can't afford it, make sure that you're still doing what you can do. You can get a lot of good stuff to put in your preps and stuff at Dollar Tree and Family Dollar and pay $1 for it. You know, they sell everything from, you know, canned goods, dry goods. They sell miniature sewing kits, first, anything to do with first aid. They have Band-Aids, they have rubbing alcohol, all that type of stuff, peroxide. They sell bleach, cleaning supplies, everything. You know, sometimes it is scaled down in size, but you're still getting some good products that you can put into your go bag. You can put it into your hurricane survival supplies, your survival kit. You know, just having some basic necessities will get you through. Now, their batteries may not last as long as Duracell, okay? But Duracell, you're going to pay, you know, top dollar for. Yes, they do last the longest. But in a pinch, you can get all your batteries. You can get D's, C's, AA, AAA, 9-volt, all those you can get right at the dollar store. You can get them for $1. And I guarantee you, if you're putting together your hurricane kit for this year, those batteries will last and get you through this hurricane season. I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't want to get people to get discouraged, because if they can't afford to buy what they see on all the YouTube videos and everything else, the TV, whatever it may be, that doesn't mean that you still can't be prepared. I want you to be prepared. I want you to thrive to survive. That's the whole key here, folks. You need to make sure that you have a plan and that you have something put up for you and your family. And you have to do it however you need to do it within your own means. Now, let me jump over to the chat here and see if anybody new is in. John Michael Van O, thank you for coming. How you doing? Let me scroll back through here. Just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody. All right. All right. JT says, don't buy the low drain. Those are mainly for the little fairy lights. Good point. I go to Walgreens and CVS and Walgreens frequently. Last week I found vitamins for 90%. Wow, good job. For example, I found probiotics that were for $3.79. I picked up. Good for you. Bob R, hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining in today. Good day, everyone. Late as usual. That's all right. We don't mind. I know I haven't done a live stream in about a month now, and hopefully I'll get back into doing these on Saturday night. Get back into my schedule. That's the plan. Been a little crazy and things going on, but we're working on getting everything worked out and getting back on a normal schedule. I try to make sure I get my videos done and get those out. At least that. And Gary, hi from Georgia. How you doing? So if you're in Georgia and you're not too far from the Fuller line, don't forget it's the hurricane, the disaster preparedness 2021 tax sales days. So if you have to, drive across the border and save yourself some money if you need anything. I don't know where you're at in Georgia, but if you're close enough. Yes, Clipper Lady, the 17 inches of rain. Yeah, that was in Louisiana the other day. There was a few areas that just got, the rain just sat there for days on end. And it wasn't a tropical system at all. It was just a regular rainstorm that was being blocked by the high pressure that was setting. And the storm just didn't move. It just sat there for days and rained and rained and rained. Wow. JT, Amazon has potato shreds, number 10 cans for $8.14. Wow, that's cheap. That's a good buy. Those, if anybody wants some of those, you better get on there and get them because they won't be around long. Kilgon Princess, we've had so little rain in not Cali this year. I feel for our fire season. Yeah, it's supposed to be very active. I have an uncle that lives out in California, outside of Los Angeles. Forget the town he lives in, but he's outside of Los Angeles. And last year, the fire was real close to his place. He was all packed and ready to go, but luckily, at that point, the wind has shifted and the fire went the opposite direction. And I was within a couple of blocks, and he would have had to evacuate. So he got lucky last year. I know I don't talk to him. My mother does. And he's already all packed and ready. He's not waiting this year. He's already moved a lot of stuff, I believe, to his daughter's house in California. So if something happens, they can just get in the car and leave and just go there. Cooper's eating my cabbage and Brussels sprouts plants. Bought Dr. Earth spray, but it doesn't phase them at all. Oh, that's not good. Have you tried maybe diatomaceous earth? Carrie, I wonder if that would work. Because I know that won't. You don't have to. That won't bother like humans. You know. I'm trying to think what else you could put on them. That's a good question. That really is a good question. Just going back to the chat here. All right. So this week here in Florida, they're talking our temperatures are supposed to, I guess, skyrocket. We've had this east wind coming off the ocean for Lord only knows how long now, a week and a half, and it's been blowing like a gale. Blows everything over on the deck outside, and I mean, I'm not that far from the water, but I guess it's supposed to turn to a southern breeze because the high pressure is moving in a different direction. So they're talking on Wednesday, our temperatures are supposed to be like 97, 98, and our heat indices are supposed to be around 108 to 110. And I'm not looking forward to that. That's not going to be fun. But, you know, it is Florida, and we're coming into where it's going to be 90 plus degrees every day for, at least the next, until November. Sometimes you almost pray for a hurricane just so it kind of cools off, and you get really nice weather usually right after a hurricane. That's one of the beautiful things. Usually the skies are blue and it's really nice and comfortable. And usually thank God, because, you got to clean everything up or fix things and everything else. So having nice weather is a bonus. Yeah, if anybody's looking for that deal on the potato shreds, the number 10 cans for $8.14, you might want to jump on it because they'll sell out quick. Once the word starts to spread, it's all over with. See, that's the thing, is sometimes when you see these sales, you got to jump on them. It's just like, when you go into like Walgreens and stuff, and you catch that, like those good sales and everything. Well, then you turn around and you got to buy it. I mean, it's an excellent price. You can't pass it up, and you just put it in your preps and everything else. I mean, when you find a really good deal, either online or if you're in the store or whatever else, and you see that deal, you just can't pass it up. I know whenever I do go to Walmart, which is very rarely, but when I do go into the store, I always search out the clearance areas. Each Walmart has their little clearance areas, because you never know what you'll find in there. And sometimes you find some really good stuff and they're just like giving it away, and other times, you don't find anything, but it doesn't hurt to look, so if you're going into some place like that, and, it always pays to walk around and just kind of look a little bit, sometimes you can, sometimes, you're on time constraints and you got to get in, get what you need and get out. But other times it's nice if you can just walk in and kind of just, walk around the store and look and see if you see any good deals, clearance, whatever it may be. And so you can score those deals, because any money you can save right now is a definite bonus. Gas prices, at least down here in Florida, have they stabilized. There was a few places where they raised the gas prices, but now I noticed they've come back down. Over around where I work, which is over around Walt Disney World, there's a lot of stations that didn't even have gas. Forget it. No gas, no nothing. They were completely sold out. And I think I did a quick live on that morning. And the few of the stations, when they did receive their gas, when they finally filled up the pumps and stuff there, all of a sudden they raised their prices to $3 a gallon for regular gas. Now, I don't know if the state said something to them about it or not, because they were there. There was two stations and they were the only ones that I saw it was $3, and everybody else was still in the 280s, and between 282 and 289, depending on where you were going. But they went all to $3. So I don't know if somebody said something, because a few days later, then all of a sudden the price dropped back down. So many people were just like, I'm not buying gas there. It's $3 a gallon. I can go down the road and I get it for 282. Unfortunately, if everybody isn't on the bandwagon, it doesn't work. But luckily here in Florida, we're not tied to that pipeline. we get all our fuel in Florida on the barges, and they bring them across, and then, you know, they distribute it that way. But we don't get anything coming down through the pipeline or anything like that. Bloody Bones, how you doing? Thank you for stopping in. Bloody Bones, I have a question. Is it a bad idea to put a moisture and an oxygen absorber in your vacuum sealed bags of rice, also vacuum sealed bags of beans? I don't think you need a moisture. An oxygen absorber is fine. I don't believe that you need to put a moisture one in there. I've never done it. I've never seen anybody do it. So I would say you don't have to do that. Save your money. And if you want to do the oxygen absorber, that is totally up to you. If you're vacuum sealing, you can always throw one in there just for the added comfort and everything else. I've done videos on that where I've done both ways, with and without, and we'll see how they turn out. You know, I just did those probably about four to 6 months ago, somewhere in there. I'd have to go back and look, and we'll see how those all turn out, and we'll give them a good year or so, and then we'll open them up and we'll make them up, and we'll do a taste test and see which one tastes the best. You know, but I'd save your money on that one. I'm in the golden corner of South Carolina. Ooh, there you go. Yep, Bloody Bones. I just use oxygen absorbers. Yep, that's what I've got some of my vacuum sealed stuff is with and without. If I'm doing, obviously, if you're doing Mylar bags, you use oxygen absorbers. There are ways where you can. I've tried, I've watched a few videos where they use their vacuum sealer to seal and suck the air and everything out of the Mylar bags with your vacuum sealer. And in theory, it looks like it's nice and easy, but when you go to do it, sometimes it's a pain in the neck. So I'm not even going to go there, and I'll leave that one for other people to do. And I'll stick to just either I'm going to Mylar bag it or I'm going to vacuum seal it. It can be really tough, especially depending on the vacuum sealer that you do have, Yes, I would agree, JT. If you're doing dehydrated fruit, yeah, you gotta. That's a oxygen is your worst nightmare when you're dealing with any of your food products. So, however you see fit that you need to really do it, that you feel comfortable, because a lot of people. Oh man, I tell you, I get a lot of comments. They're really. I think they're kind of afraid or skittish to do the vacuum sealing or the Mylar bags and stuff with different items, especially with like if you're dehydrating. And I don't know. It just seems like I think more of it is they're out of their comfort zone. Maybe they're just learning. So for some people, when you're looking at this, you're thinking, okay, is this going to be fresh when I need it? Don't I need to really, shouldn't I really put one of these in there or do this or do that? And, some things are all trial by error. You learn by, you do something, and if it didn't work, then you learn what you did wrong. And then you kind of figure out how to fix the situation so that you don't run across the same situation again. And this way here, you're not wasting your product, your money, or your time and everything else. But I mean, you're going to make mistakes out there, especially, everybody does. You may forget to do something. You forgot to turn something on. You forgot to do this or that, or, I did some stuff. What was it? Marlar bags. When I first started using the Marlar bags and stuff, and I'm sitting there and I was doing beans and rice and all this kind of stuff, and I sealed up the bags and everything, and then I'm sitting there and I'm going, because I had just enough oxygen absorbers to do those, and then I look, and then in my jar there's 4 oxygen absorbers. Now I couldn't remember which ones I didn't put it in. So what I did is I waited the 24 hours, and the next day, the ones that I put the oxygen absorbers in were solid as a rock, and the other ones, well, they were just like the bags that you buy them in the store. I just, I don't know. I just totally forgot to put them in there. So I took and I cut them open. I put the oxygen absorbers in, sealed them up again, and then I was fine. You know, that's why a lot of people, and like I say, and a lot of people say, you always want to make sure that you're going back and checking your product 24 hours later and making sure whatever you're doing, it is doing what it's supposed to do. It's sealed. The oxygen is all out of it. You don't have any leaks. Because I mean, I've had 2 Marlar bags from 2 different batches and stuff, but I've had 2 that had pinholes in them and they wouldn't seal. And I mean, you can't see it. You don't know, but that's why you want to go back and check your products and stuff and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let me jump back in the chat here. Sorry, jumped off. They also have banana chips for $9.98, number 10 can. Ooh, wow, they must have some good sales going on. I was wondering, did both in my rice and beans. I sealed up 2 cups, bags, both rice and beans. I did 20 pounds of each. Once I divided it up to 2-cup bags and put them into lid buckets. There you go. I've got a whole bunch of stuff stored in my lid buckets. I think it's a great thing. Nope, JT will be on buying some banana chips here shortly. Sorry, so if I'm not chatting correctly. Don't worry about it, balloons for you. Just chat away however you see fit. That's more than fine. 40% off. Wow. That's really good. Bloody Bones, did you put the rice and beans in separate bags? Yes, I store my rice and beans in separate bags. Now, there are people that do mix them. It's your preference, you know. I mean, if you're going to use it that way and you want to just go ahead and, you know, have it already pre-mixed, all you got to do is just open up the bag and you're cooking with gas. But I do mine separate. I do my rice is my rice and my beans are beans. I do my rice. Bloody Bones, I do my rice. If you go back and you watch my number 1 video on my channel, and it's on rice, but I break it down into 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, and you vacuum seal them, or if you're going to do them on Marlar bags, and I do it for a reason. Now, if you got into a barter situation or something, having the 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, depending on what you're looking to barter for, is an easier way to do than I do have 5 and 10 pounds of rice that's stored in buckets. But if on a barter note, if you need potatoes, so if you're willing to trade, you know, a 3-cup bag of rice for maybe 4 to 6 potatoes, you know, I mean, it's a lot easier than having a 10, 20 pound thing full of rice and you're trying to divide this up. That's why I did it the way I did it. And a lot of people, like I said, that's my number 1 video on my channel. A lot of people really like that idea of breaking it up to 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup. And then you can, like I said, you in your buckets, you can store your bulk rice, but you want to make sure that you have quite a bit that's put up to where you can use it to barter with somebody for other products that you may need. because rice, when it comes right down to it, will be the staple that lasts right there with honey and all that kind of stuff. If as long as it's stored properly, I mean, that stuff's going to last for a very long time, folks. So having that as a barter tool down the road is really key in survival. You want to make sure, and like I said in some of my videos, I have a dehydration video coming out, and I'm going to show you how to save some space and stuff like that. But anyways, in that video, I'm not going to give the whole thing away, but in that video, I talk about the ways that you could break down your dehydrated vegetables or fruits or anything else and put them into smaller Mylar bags or vacuum seal them in smaller. So you could do like a cup of green beans or a cup of carrots or whatever it is that you've dehydrated, mushrooms, whatever it could be. And but you could use that as a barter tool. I mean, I'm thinking down the road, if things go south, I'm sure a lot of you on here probably know Alaskan Prepper. He does have his new channel that's out, and where he talks a lot about finances and what's going on with the economy and everything else. And he's very intelligent in that. And it doesn't look good the way things are going. So hopefully, everybody's wrong and nothing really happens. But then again, you just don't know, and you've got to be prepared. You have to be ready. You have to stay ahead of the game, folks. I mean, that's why this disaster preparedness 2021 is so critical, because you're going to see the prices of food going up. I did a video on that. You're going to watch and see how everything is going to start rising, and it already has. Meat prices are just getting astronomical. All the canned goods and stuff, they're slowly starting to go up. The only place I've noticed that where they're still basically kind of normal on the Walmart brands, they're still at their same price point, but how long can they stay at that price point? I mean, even though Walmart is huge and everything else, it's how long can they, I wouldn't want to say lose money, but when everybody else is raising all their prices and stuff, and maybe it's because they're selling more because they're cheaper. So maybe they don't see the need to raise the prices right at this point. But even the meat at Walmart has gone up. The only thing that still hasn't gone up is their chicken breast, which is still $1.99 for the family pack. So thank God we eat a lot of chicken. But meat prices, wow. You go for ribeye steaks or T-bone steaks and everything else, and the prices are just, man, you got to take a loan out from the bank to go get those things. You got to shop around and find the best deals. All right, let me jump back in here. Rice takes 20 to 25 minutes to cook, an hour or more for beans. That's why you don't bag them together. Now, I mean, if we all had the money, I'm sure we would all just love to go out and buy our own freeze dryers, and then we wouldn't have to worry about any of this. We could freeze dry everything. But those bad boys, whew. I found one on Amazon, and actually I went on there and I read the reviews on this thing, and I forget how many thousands of dollars it was, but the reviews were not good on that product. Let me tell you what, folks, people had a lot of problems and a lot of issues. And I was just like, oh boy, you spend that kind of money. I mean, I think it was $5 or $7 grand. You spend that kind of money on something and you want it to work. I mean, it's like buying a brand new car. If you bought a brand new car and you drove it off the lot and it broke down, you'd be wanting your old car back. I mean, JT, I will agree. I'm not normally worried, but I have a very bad feeling that things are going to get worse and worse. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I can't buy a freeze dryer. We have to spend $3,000 to get 2 trees cut down. Ooh, ooh, oh, that hurts. See, if you were up north, you could find somebody to buy the wood from you. You could, I mean, down here in Florida, it just depends, I guess. You don't have those very many days where you would really use a fireplace. Now I miss where we used to live because we had a fire pit outside, and in our quote winter months, I love my fire pit. I mean, that was just great. You go out there, and if it was like 62, 64 degrees, and there was that light breeze in the air out of the north, and you fire that sucker up, oh, it was like heaven. So I have a question for everybody. What would you say would be the one thing that you're very confident in prepping? What would be the one thing that you're very confident in prepping? Just out of curiosity. Everybody has their own little niches. I think mine would probably be I'm very, very comfortable doing rice. Like I've said, I've done it. I have it in canning jars that I vacuum sealed. I have it in Mylar bags. I have it in vacuum sealed bags. I have it with oxygen absorbers, without oxygen absorbers. But I would say, if I had to pick one niche that I feel very comfortable doing as far as food prep, I would say rice would be my, because canned goods are so easy. I mean, canned goods, as long as you're rotating your stock, I mean, that's a give me. I'm slowly getting into the dehydrator. I've been using that, and I'm getting used to doing that. I'm new to that, so we're all kind of learning together. I know there's a lot of people on here that's been dehydrating for probably a very long time, and but I'm just getting into that. I would like to try pressure canning. I'm still. It's not that it scares me. I wouldn't say. It's just I don't know really a lot about it, and I watch a lot of AP's videos, and he makes it look so easy. So maybe I just gotta bite the bullet and buy one and try doing because if you guys go on to Alaskan Prepper's channel and search out his meatloaf recipe that he pressure cans, I tell you what, it looks really good. Really, really good. With a nonprofit that turned into mulch. Oh, that's pretty cool. Then sells it. I would say food prep too. I can make almost anything we normally eat. But I'm also scared. That's all right. We're using the autocorrect on maybe the phone or something. Oh, I hate that thing. Oh, you're trying to talk to somebody and you speak into it. The technology, and that's the other really big thing that they're talking about with these solar flares, people. I did a video where I've talked about people getting used to using the old standard roadmaps, and because a lot of people don't know how to read those things, and I think that would be something to be very beneficial because all the scientists and stuff believe that if we have another huge solar flare come and hit this earth again, which they believe will probably happen sometime soon, they believe that it's going to knock out all the GPS satellites. This is something that they're very concerned about, considering that everything is done with GPS. Everything is done with GPS. You knock out those satellites and nobody's going to know where to go because this ain't going to tell you, if you know what I'm saying. So that's why I think it'd be a really good idea, if you don't know how to read a road map, to pick up one. You can pick up just a map of your area, a little paper map. You can get them at Walmart. They're dirt cheap. And learn how to use it. Get it out. It explains it right there. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory once you start really looking at the map and everything else. Now I'm not talking like topo maps, and I'm not talking, all these type of different maps and everything where you're dealing with elevation and mountains and ridges and valleys and all this. That's a whole different ball game, folks. I do have some of those maps, but not of Florida. Those are all from up north where I came from. But you want to make sure that you can read a standard road map and figure out how to get from point A to point B. And especially if you live in a hurricane-prone area, because who's to say the way that things have just been so crazy that something wouldn't happen. There'd be a solar flare that hits the earth, knocks out all the GPS satellites, and then we get slammed with a category 3 or 4 hurricane, and people don't know how to evacuate. They don't know what their evacuation route is. They don't have it written down in a planner or even a notebook, because people are, at least down here in Florida, I'll speak for Florida people. Down here in Florida, man, they're like this when they're driving, and they drive 95 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. School buses, they just blow right by them. I'm surprised there's not more kids. I can't tell you, every single day I see people blow by school buses. Every single day on my route over in Kissimmee, I see people blowing right to stop things out. They've been stopped and cars are just blowing by. It's amazing. People are just, everybody's in a hurry. And, those are going to be the ones that if something ever did happen and it came to a survival situation, those are going to be the ones that are looking for the hands out because they're not going to be prepared and they're not going to know what to do. And they'll be the first ones to go. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just speaking the truth. You have to, when it comes to prepping and being ready and being thrust into a disastrous type situation, you got to have a cool head. You have to have a plan. You have to know what your plan is, and you have to know how to execute your plan and get everybody else in your family and your home, make sure that they know exactly what to do too. Could be you're dealing with fires, earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, ice storms. We all have to deal with something, right, folks? I mean, there is no place on this planet you can't go and you're not going to deal with anything. You can go out in the middle of the desert and you still got to deal with the drought. You got to find water. Can you find water? I'm no mountain man or something like this, but I know generally what to look for if you're looking for water. It may not be there, but I have an idea, let's say. So I'm a little bit higher up on the food chain of survival in a desert situation. I know you have to travel at night, not during the day. So you have to find yourself someplace where you can get out of the sun because you'll bake to us crisp and dehydrate in a matter of no time. So you have to travel at night and lay low during the day, but that's just me rambling on. Let me get back in the chat here, folks. I'm sorry. Kraylon, hey, how you doing? Thank you for jumping in. If you can boil water, you can water bath, and a little more, you can pressure can. Things like pumpkin bread can be dried. Ooh, I'll have to try that. I love pumpkin bread. Pumpkin bread, banana bread. Wonder if it'd work with banana bread. Now you got me thinking. I'll try anything. I'll throw anything in the dehydrator. I'll see if it works or not. JT, agree. Cook Princess sewing will be a real blessing if things go south. I used to love to sew. I probably could stitch things up. I'm not so much keen on sewing, but if I had to do it, I'll figure something out. Now I've stitched up, things before, rips and tears and packs and things of that nature, so they don't get worse. Especially if it's in your pack and it's somewhere where it's load bearing. But new paper maps that I can do. My husband always drove. I was co-pilot with map. Yeah, there you go. To the car in front of you and someone will cut in and take up the gap. Isn't that so annoying, JT? I think once we get all these damn masks off people and open up these other slave states, this thing will bounce back. Let's hope so. Who knows what's going to happen here, folks. I'm tired of wearing the mask too. I'm sick of it. At least down here in Florida, they're starting to take and open up things, and things are trying to get back to normal. Some businesses, they still can require that you wear a mask. Some of the businesses I go into on my route, they still have the signs up. They still want you to wear the mask. So South Florida, DCL, it was going through the desert. I would make sure that I was well prepared beforehand. Yeah, you got that right. And not someplace I'd want to be. I was using that as an example. Yeah, give me the mountains any day over the desert. That's fantastic. I know it gives you comfort. So for the evening. So, all right, we're almost up to an hour. I miss smiling at people and seeing them smile at me. I would say that's the biggest thing. I think I would think, for me, that's the biggest thing. When you're talking to somebody and you can't see their face, you can't see them smile or chuckle or anything. I mean, everything's like covered up, and I think it's really worn on a lot of people. I don't know about anywhere else in this country, but down here in Florida, the shootings and murders and everything else have been on the rise like crazy. People are just going insane. They're just driving around shooting people for the fun of it, I guess. And I don't know what's really going on. I know this whole thing has brought a lot of people down. I mean, I still have a grandson I haven't seen yet. Hopefully the creek don't rise and I don't get blown away in a hurricane between now and October. I'm going to be seeing my grandson. That's the plan, at least. And so I'm looking forward to that. He'll be over a year old by that point. He'll be running all over the place. So I'll have to be running after him. Although I'll be grabbing him and taking him in the woods. I don't know if his mom's going to like that, but we'll have to see. I'm grateful for them. Still a PETA. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. I know my mother, she still wears hers if she goes out and everything else, just because, she doesn't want to take any chances. She's been vaccinated and everything else. A lot of people are like that, and so be it. I think it should be everybody's right what they want to do. I don't think it should be done by the governors. I don't think it should be done by the government or anything else. It's just like sending the kids back to school. All right. If the parents feel that they want their child to wear a mask, they should be allowed to wear a mask. If the parents don't want their child to wear a mask, then they shouldn't have to wear a mask. I know in Brevard County, they just put that exact thing into place. If the kid wants to wear a mask, he can wear a mask. If he doesn't have to, and I think that's how it should be. Let everybody make their own decisions. I mean, they have all these different rules and regulations. You go from one state to the next, and everything is totally different and different rules and different regulations. And they wonder why people are so confused when they're trying to travel and do everything else. You don't know what the heck's going on, from one state to the other. Bloody Bones, JT, it does. I was raised by a man that lived through the Great Depression and have a good bit of knowledge on making something out of nothing. That is a very good thing to know. I know my grandparents were, they lived through the Great Depression, and my grandmother's basement was full of canning jars. I mean, my grandfather had a huge garden, and he did that right up until the year he died. He did the garden, and grandma did all the canning. But when, they were all younger, there was 12 kids, I mean, so they had no choice. They had to, whatever they ate was out of the garden. And then they would barter for meat or eggs, and they bartered for milk and that type of stuff. So, I'd love to stock up more, afraid not to stock up, but the heck, we are always having to evacuate here in California due to fires, but I think we are in for a wild time with food prices. In a case like that, Balloons for You, what I would really say is you want to make sure that you're probably, I know it's the most expensive thing that's out there, but you're going to want to really start trying to look into freeze-dried foods. Pick any one you want, Mountain House, Four Patriots. There's quite a few that are out there. And the reason I say that is because it's lightweight, it takes up little room, and this way here you can have food on a fly. So you could have one backpack, you could just stuff full of these things, and that thing probably wouldn't weigh more than, if you're lucky, 10 pounds, because there's no weight to the freeze-dried foods. I mean, they're literally ounces for a meal. So to have something where you live in California and that you got to deal with fires, where it's a grab and go type situation where you grab your bag. I did a video on that over a year ago, and you grab your bag and you're out the door and you're in your car and you're gone. Some people, I really like the idea of keeping the bag in the car and everything, but you have to be really careful if you live someplace where it gets hot, like here in Florida. So, you can't pack what people say in the north and stuff can, where they don't have 100 and some odd degree days, for months on end, because it's going to ruin your products and any first aid stuff and everything. It's not going to last. It's not going to be able to take the heat. That's why I don't store anything in my garage, at least down here in Florida, because it gets just way too hot. So I think you really need to look into getting yourself some freeze-dried foods. Pick up a cheap backpack at Walmart or someplace and stuff that sucker full, so that way when you're walking out the door with your regular backpack or luggage or whatever you're using, you can grab that and you have food. Because let's face it, trying to lug a whole bunch of canned goods and stuff, it's not going to work. You'll never make it. Carolyn, good night. Really, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. 100% agree about the mask. Good night. Nephew is not happy. Portugal Preppers. How you doing? Thank you for stopping in. Hello and welcome. I took my freeze-dried food from people who gave me shot about it. I didn't care. No, I wouldn't care either. Thinking about having a trailer to store to take quickly. Yeah, as long as you have, you have some way. Because I know for a lot of people the freeze dried food is, I mean, it's a tough thing to do because they're so expensive. You can go to Walmart and you can buy the Mountain House and they're for $8.98. And they're individual packs. It's not like a 72-hour kit or something like that. But it's an option for you. So you can usually pick those, and they're right in the camping section and everything. The funny thing was, a quick story before we go here, because we're over an hour now, but I just want to tell you this story real quick. When the pandemic first hit, so we were all prepped and we're all ready, but I wanted to see what the stores were like. So we went to our Walmart, and while we're there at our Walmart, I mean, the shelves and everything else were empty, and it was just chaos. I shot a few videos, of all this stuff. And then I was like, I want to walk over to the camping section and see how many people figured out that there's freeze-dried foods over in the camping section at Walmart on the other side of the store. So I walked over there where there's nobody because everybody's ransacking the food section and the toilet paper. And we get over there, and lo and behold, there's all this food up there. And there was this one old guy standing down there. And he's picking out some stuff, and he goes, they're all fools over there, aren't they? He says, the good stuff's right here. And he's throwing it in his cart. And I just give him the thumbs up, and I just walked away. Just a food for thought. I mean, it's just a funny story. Loaded up my truck with camper shell and the main stuff and took camping gear and freeze-dried food just in case. Yeah. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, it's all about survival at that point. I mean, when it comes down to that. So all right, folks. Well, we're at about an hour and 7 minutes here. We're a little bit over. I'd like to thank everybody for joining in. I know I haven't been on in a while. It's been about a month since I've done a live stream, and I apologize. But like I did say in the very beginning, we're going to get back on our normal schedule on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Share the links if you see them, because I want to try. Post those links so people remember and everything else. Share the links and let people know that we're going live, and we'll get this thing going. Our channel is slowly, we're still growing, people. I mean, every week I'm growing 5 to 8 people a week. Some weeks it's 10, just depends on the videos and the content and if people are interested. So we're getting there. I am planning on another giveaway. I'm working on that right now. I'd like to do something really nice for when I hit 2,000 subscribers. So I'm working on that and trying to put that all together. I have a few things left that I would like to get and to put into my giveaway. But that'll be coming down the pike here coming soon. And I just appreciate everybody, just the way our community is. I just want to say thank you for everybody for when you chime in, when you comment on people and everything else on videos, and the way we just try to help each other out. And I just love it. And I just want to just tell you, remember, thrive to survive, folks. That's my new little Logan here. I kind of like that one, the thrive to survive, because we're all in this boat together. And if we thrive and push ahead, we'll all get through it. No matter what the disaster, the storm, it doesn't matter. If we stick together, we'll all get there. Just got to keep swimming, right? All right. I'm Survival Preparedness for Beginners. Thank you once again for tuning in and watching and being on the live stream with me today. I really do appreciate it. And remember, folks, keep prepping, keep swimming, and thrive to survive. I'll catch you all next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you all then. Have a great week, folks.